Hi, this is Kristen here. Welcome to another process video, and today I'm working on 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. This is Series 19. I'm also working on the Iron Crafter Challenge, which is hosted by Tara from the Paper Snob, and this month's challenge was to use metal on your layout. And I am working with sketch number 17, which is kind of patriotic, at least when I look at it, it looks like fireworks. And so I decided to pull out Doodlebug. This is combination between Doodlebug Land That I Love and Doodlebug Hometown USA. You'll see I'm filming from home, at least in this particular setting, and we ended up taking a vacation. Ended up going to an old 1800s house that was on a creek, 40 acres. It was beautiful. So you'll see my next several videos, probably the next 10 maybe, are all filmed at that particular location. So some of the videos will, they're not the best quality because the lighting was pretty dim. I still have my my halo light, my ring light, but some of it too was the table that I was working on was really small, so I kind of kept cutting off the bottom of my layouts. So I will try to kind of go through some of those videos and shorten them if they're cut, pieces of it are cut out. This one actually ended up being okay. So anyway, so I went ahead and decided to use white cardstock on this, and then with this blue kind of star border. And I was thinking of reusing the piece that I gutted from the center of it, but I was like, you know what? I think a red piece of paper would look really good here. So you'll see me pulling this piece of red, and I was considering maybe adding just a red border to the pages, but I will end up doing like an actual big red piece of paper in the center. So essentially kind of triple layering. The camera, unfortunately, every once in a while will shake just because this table was not the steadiest. So I really tried hard to not allow that to happen. But so pretty much when I had started I knew kind of what sketches I still had left to do. So I kind of went through while I was packing us up and kind of went through and looked at each of the sketches, kind of brainstormed what pictures I wanted to actually scrapbook, and then what collections would go good with either what I was scrapbooking or the sketches themselves. So I ended up packing up in individual containers, little folders that I had, the different collections along with pictures that I printed so I could get some scrapbooking done. And it was really nice. We ended up taking a lot of walks in the woods. We fished. We pretty much stayed on the property. We left the property one day to go to a local Amish farm and to take a train ride on this, I think, Strasburg Railroad. Hopefully I'm saying that right. In kind of Lancaster County. We were actually closer to Maryland where we were staying. It was technically called Delta, Pennsylvania. So, but we had this big creek kind of rolling through the property, so we went and fished the creek and just kind of explored in the woods. And they had a really nice fire pit outside, so we pretty much just had little fires every evening and just kind of took it easy. We really did not do a lot besides just kind of exploring the property and hanging out together and talking. It was really nice to get my oldest off of his electronics because he can get a little focused on playing. He's a gamer, so he gets a little focused on gaming. So he didn't seem like he was super interested in it, besides when we would be inside in the morning cooking breakfast or whatever, he would kind of get on it. But then really until we went in at night and kind of were settling in and just kind of doing our own thing, he pretty much stayed off of it most of the time. So I'm pulling in different pieces from the laser cut, the die cut pieces that I've got. This collection was so cute because they had a lot of acetate fireworks. So just really, really cool collection. I really enjoy this one a lot. And so here you see me cutting this red paper into a smaller triangle just to set inside the white. And I had a heck of a time with this cutter. So it's a cutter that I used to use like back in the day when I first started scrapbooking, but you have to be super careful with it because it's really sharp. I mean, it cuts really well, but it wants to not cut the straightest unless you're really paying close attention. Like, you have to be really careful. So I did notice that I was having kind of a hard time making sure everything was cutting straight. And so I'm just going to go ahead and layer back on these pictures and go through the ephemera, kind of make sure I don't put everything back on here, but I just want to make sure I liked how it looked on that red paper since I had mocked it up without it. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. I like it. So I'll start getting everything adhered down. So the pictures I'm actually documenting are from, oh geez, that would have been, well, my youngest, he was probably only about 6 months old at the time. So 2018. We took a trip to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and went and saw the Liberty Bell and got to kind of roam around Philadelphia. We weren't there for very long. I think we were there for maybe a couple of days, 3-4 days. We'd gone out there. We had to pick up some furniture that we had made. And we also went to the Eastern State Penitentiary, is that right? Where, it's supposed to be haunted. And let me tell you, the baby, so my younger son, he cried a lot when we were in Eastern State Penitentiary. He usually wasn't a super fussy baby, so I don't know if he was just picking up on some dark energy there. I don't know. But it kind of unsettled us a little bit. And of course, the kids don't remember it at all. I mean, they were pretty young, so. But it was funny because while I was scrapbooking this, they were asking questions about it, and of course, you can see my younger son. I was carrying him, and he had crashed out. Like he was out. He could have cared less. And it was pretty chilly out that weekend. Like we. Remember, like some of the days, I almost think it was like a little overcast and rainy too. So we would have gone. We always usually take trips sometime in the fall and try to go somewhere where it's somewhat drivable, where we, maybe won't stay a full week, but. So I'm going to start getting everything adhered down. I think I cut away from this just so you don't have to watch me getting all this stuff adhered down. So really most of the layouts I did while I was on this trip, because I pretty much packed the ephemera. I had, obviously had to kind of be real mindful of like what I was packing. Because we weren't going to be there that long, and I wasn't going to be scrapbooking every day, so it's not like I was going to a scrapbook retreat, so I didn't want to like overpack and have too much. So I packed what ephemera I thought was really necessary for the layouts, didn't overpack more than that. So it was kind of like the layouts came together fairly quickly because, I really didn't have much of a choice. I didn't have a ton of different ephemera pieces to pick out from, so I do end up popping these banner pieces up on foam just to kind of get them to set out from the Liberty Bell. Go ahead and get the little Uncle Sam down here. And then I'm going to start pulling in these metal paper clips. So there's where my metal comes in from. I had some like red eyelets that I could have used on this, but I didn't bring anything to put them on and to actually bang them because they're like the old school. I could have probably brought my, what was it called, a crocodile. But I'm like, you know what, let's just keep it simple. Metal paper clips will be my metal. So I ended up putting a metal paper clip to each photograph to make it look like that's kind of what was holding the photographs there. And then I do end up popping them up on some foam just to kind of help support them because they were kind of raised up off the page a little bit. So I just put foam dots. I had initially tried to glue it, so that's what I was doing here, but the glue wasn't really holding it. So I did end up putting foam behind all those. And here are those acetate fireworks that I was talking about. Some of them have some like silver foiling on them. Some of them have just kind of, blue, red, silver. So I really felt like this collection really worked really well for the sketch because to me that's kind of what the sketch looked like. It was intended for, was to have the kind of those fireworks around the page. So I'm just trying to go around and like put some like random stars. I think the sketch had stars on there, maybe not. I might be making that up, but I wanted to add, a few of those stars kind of around the page to kind of like, because I obviously couldn't put fireworks. And I think they probably had more on the sketch. Than I really maybe even was able to make it on this layout just because the pictures, I'm not even sure how big the pictures were supposed to be on the sketch, to be quite honest. So, but I had already pre-printed them, so it was kind of like the size that I had was the size that I had. I mean, I had tried to kind of brainstorm before, just to make sure that this was the right size that I wanted, and I figured I could make it work. So. Actually, once I got back from this trip, I actually ended up finishing the last 2 layouts at home. And then I actually ended up doing quite a few layouts without filming, just because I wanted to kind of take a break from filming and not feel like, I needed to do voiceovers and things like that. I'll still post them on social media on like my Instagram account, but it'll be something that I just don't do process videos to. And so here is the finished layout. I will include the information down below for the Facebook group as well as the YouTube playlist. So if you want to go check out what others are making, you can. Here are a few close-up shots. I really appreciate you for coming by to watch another process video.